This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It's Friday, the real Friday, November 4th, and today's pod is the best one yet.
It's the real Friday. This is a real T-Boy.
Jack, remember that story we did on Should TikTok Be Banned?
Yeah.
And remember we put that story, Should TikTok Be Banned, in a video on TikTok?
Yeah, I know we did.
Did TikTok just ban our video about Should TikTok Be Banned?
I don't think so. No, it's still up.
It's not doing as well as our other videos. I just want to point that out. I just noticed that, though.
What button did they push on this video?
Yeah, what she wants, she gets. Jack, what's our first story for the T-Boy?
Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy are launching a virtual golf league.
Disrupting sports is the new fetch.
Our second story is Etsy. It just revealed that craft sellers don't care about profits. They care about art.
So Etsy just became an inflation haven.
And our third and final story is Sono Motors. In Germany, they just created something we've never seen before.
A self-charging car.
A self-charging car.
It doesn't drive itself. Like, you're going to have to drive it, but it will charge itself.
It will charge itself with the help of one celestial being.
Yeah, let's just say it's the biggest star in our galaxy.
But Yetis, before we hit that fantastic mix.
Just a wonderful mix to go into the weekend myth, man. I love it.
It's almost Sleep In Sunday.
Sleep In Sunday, because it is not just any weekend, Jack.
It's Daylight Savings Weekend.
It's Daylight Savings Weekend. We're getting one more hour of sleep this Sunday, hence the Sleep In.
Yetis, before you go to bed on Saturday night,
you're going to want to adjust your clock back an hour.
Back 1 hour, because you're getting an extra hour of snooze.
That's an extra hour of just chilling on that mattress.
And daylight savings means it won't be dark until 8 a.m. anymore, which is good news.
Yeah, Jack, you can actually see 3 feet ahead of you as you walk to the car in the morning and not smash your head.
We love you, Sleep In Sunday.
We cherish you, Sleep In Sunday.
But this might be the last Sleep In Sunday.
Yetis, this may be the final Sleep In Sunday.
Because the last time we discussed daylight savings, it was about the end of daylight savings.
Yeah, last spring, the Senate unanimously passed a bill to end the sleep-in holiday.
It was shocking. But fortunately, the House has not passed that bill yet.
Yeah, they're still debating what to do with our Sleep-In Sunday daylight savings.
But there is still a bill to banish the biannual tradition of changing the clocks.
And it's still alive. It still could happen.
Which means we need to cherish this Sleep-In Sunday.
Because, besties, it could be our final Sleep-In Sunday.
Let's snooze our 3 stories.
15 years before this song, 2 boys from the Northeast met in a dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is the norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. T-Boy City on your at-list. If you know, you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, and like basically every other athlete we've ever seen are now disrupting golf.
We're talking virtual golf in an arena, and it's completely fan-centric.
It's part of an interesting startup trend. Actually, first of all, Jack, how do you make your startup sound cool back in 2012?
That's easy. You drop the vowels.
You drop the vowels.
You crunch the word together.
All caps, maybe all lowercase. Golf legends Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy, they just launched a startup called Tomorrow. And how are they going to spell this thing, Jack?
Just the consonants.
Yeah, just the consonants.
They disemboweled the word tomorrow to be TMRW.
Yeah, they basically offended the entire cast of Sesame Street on this one. It's TMRW, but it's
still pronounced tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Also, they assembled a literal all-star lineup of investors.
If you've won a trophy, you're on this cap table.
Jack, let me read this off to you. You got Serena Williams, Josh Allen, Steph Curry, race car driver Lewis Hamilton, and Justin Timberlake. They all just invested.
Is that a cap table or a Hall of Fame? You got Shohei Ohtani, Alex Morgan, Sidney Crosby, and Ninja, the esports champion. They all invested in Tomorrow.
Jack, can you add all that up for us on the trophy case?
21 gold medals, 8 NBA championships, 3 Stanley Cups,
and 10 Grammy Awards have invested in this new company.
And this company does virtual golf.
We're talking golf matches that aren't on a golf course, Yetis. they're in an arena.
Picture Tiger Woods emerging from a tunnel to an eruption of applause.
Yes.
He walks up to a tee box in an arena, mind you, and drives a golf ball like crazy directly into a TV screen.
The driving is virtual, we should point out, but there is an actual green with a bunch of bunkers in the middle of the arena.
2 teams of 3 players are going to match up against each other, driving balls into TVs and putting balls into actual cups, all in front of fans.
Now that sounds completely different from your typical golf match, Jack.
A typical golf match, you show up and some huge parking lot and you pick one spot on the course. You see Tiger one time during those 18 holes.
And then there are 4 rounds, 5 hours each. The next thing you know, you got a sunburn and you're being taken care of in like the tent by a nurse.
Tomorrow, on the other hand, is a 2-hour-long affair. All 18 holes happen right there in front of you in the arena.
They actually literally designed this new sport for a primetime slot of TV on Monday night.
So you're not going to be waiting 7 hours to see Tiger hit the 7-iron one time.
This isn't that weekend-long marathon with the sunburn of your typical golf game.
No, this is virtual golf, which also means they have to build that techified arena. So the first season isn't going to come until 2024.
This basically looks like the set of Nickelodeon's like guts, you know, with the aggro crag. This is the aggro crag.
And this is all done in partnership with the PGA Tour.
Yeah, now that the Live Golf Tournament threatens the PGA Tour, Rory and Tiger are helping the golf game innovate.
Like a caddy.
So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies at the new golf startup tomorrow?
Pro sports have been challenged more in the last year than in the previous 100 years.
Yetis, historically, the 4 major sports leagues have had literal monopolies on athletics.
Because the leagues and the owners had all the power through the money.
But in the last couple years, we're seeing a rise in like legitimate sports disruptors.
Because the power has shifted from the owners to the players through followers.
For example, pro athletes are buying pickleball teams, and The Rock, the actor, just bought the XFL football league.
How about YouTuber Logan Paul, who somehow fought Floyd Mayweather, the heavyweight champion of the world, on pay-per-view?
And this shakeup of the top sports is triggering other forms of sports disruption.
Another set of YouTubers, Dude Perfect, have turned trick shots into a whole sport.
Jack, we just covered Putt Shack and Topgolf, which both raised big venture capital money to make golf into a nightlife activity.
Pro sports have never faced more challengers
Never
than they have in the past 1 year.
For our second story, Etsy, the craft marketplace. It just surged 15% yesterday.
Because Etsy sellers, they set adorable prices.
They are adorable.
It's wonderful.
It's wonderful. We just had the year of the wedding. We just had the biggest wedding day of the year. And if you didn't have an Etsy hand-painted sign in script that said, "Let's dance at your wedding," did you even get married, man?
If you have a taco station, I don't know it's a taco station unless there's a sign that says taco about a wedding.
Yeah, like 50 signs from Etsy. It's a blessed, #blessed, and then like 3 other things.
Blessed.
Because we're talking about Etsy, the $13 billion Amazon for crafts.
The flea market of the internet.
Exactly, Jack.
The online arts and crafts store.
Right. Where are you going to go if you want to get like a mason jar candle these days?
The Podson, he's swinging in a macrame toddler swing right now from Etsy.
Jack, I know it's on your Christmas list. It is a repurposed quilted stocking for the whole family, man.
A stocking set. You know it.
And you're getting that on Etsy. So, Jack, how did Etsy actually do last quarter?
They added 6 million new buyers last quarter, so the stock jumped by 15%.
Not too shabby. It's a 2-sided marketplace. They now got 7 million people selling things on Etsy.
And 94 million people buying things on Etsy.
But here's what Jack and I found fascinating about Etsy's earnings. Their competitive advantage appears to be modesty, wholesomeness, and generosity.
That's right. This is a fascinating story. The CEO said that Etsy sellers who craft those mason jar candles we just mentioned,
apparently they are not raising prices.
Every company in this economy is jacking up prices because they simply can.
But not Etsy's artistic sellers. They're just staying where they are.
It appears that Etsy sellers are masters of their craft, but not maximizers of profit.
Like mom and pops are less likely to raise prices than MBAs are.
And according to a UBS survey, 1/4 of Etsy sellers don't even know what their profit margin is.
We repeat, 25% of people selling those lovely mason jar candles on Etsy are not aware of how much money they are making or losing right now. Like they're making that reclaimed wooden table for the love of mahogany, not for money.
Joy is their profit.
Joy.
That's why we love Etsy. It's a great place.
Just to be clear, we don't own shares of Etsy, but we love this business model.
It's so refreshing.
It's refreshing. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Etsy?
We talked about downturn divas. Well, Etsy has become an inflation haven.
Yetis, earlier this week, Jack and I covered Uber's earnings surge.
We learned that a recession could actually improve Uber's business. That's why we called it a downturn diva.
Well, similarly, Etsy is proving to be an inflation haven, an inflation destination.
Because every retailer, from Target to Dollar General to Chipotle, they have raised prices.
Like a team at Target right now in a room being like, how can we make cereal $43?
The gentle, kind, humble nature of Etsy sellers make it a safe haven for budget-squeezed consumers.
And that is benefiting Etsy's stock. Etsy has become an inflation destination.
Now, a word about our sponsor, Robinhood.
A lot of Yetis don't realize how much prep work goes into this pod.
We spend hours every morning jumping in T-Boy style to earnings reports, CEO tweets, breaking news headlines.
Yeah, Jack and I are toggling tabs like you toggled IM convos in 2004.
Having 8 tabs open can be stressful. You don't need that, especially when investing.
Robinhood offers it all in one app.
Whether you want to trade options, ETFs, or stocks through Robinhood Financial,
Or you want to buy some Bitcoin on Robinhood Crypto.
you can do it all on the Robinhood app.
If you're not investing in Robinhood yet, to get started, go to Robinhood.com/Tboy and choose your free stock.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY. Limitations apply.
Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. All investments involve risk.
By the way, this podcast is not owned or part of Robinhood, and we are not employees of Robinhood.
For our third and final story before the weekend, Sono Motors just jumped 15% after unveiling an electric car covered in solar panels.
You've heard about self-driving cars.
Yeah.
This is a self-charging car.
All right, Jack, let's tell a story here. Let's go back to 2015. What was happening over in Germany?
2 teenagers built a car by hand
By hand.
in a shed.
Okay, full disclosure, I don't totally know what an Allen wrench is. I'm just going to put that out there.
But you love saying
I
chassis.
do like saying chassis. Don't totally know what that is either, Jack. Anyway, these 2 teenagers, they built a car by hand. They had to actually crowdsource money in order to build their brand new car.
That company today is known as Sono Motors, and it's based in the same town as BMW is.
But we should point out they don't want to be compared to BMW.
So Sono's Motors didn't make a car. They made something different.
Yeah, they made a solar electric vehicle.
A completely new thing we've never covered on this pod.
This is a company whose mission is to make every vehicle solar.
This company makes a $25,000 real car with 4 wheels that charges itself with just the sun.
Now, it's called the Scion, which sounds vaguely Greek for sun, and it's a 4-door production-ready electric car with every inch covered in a solar panel.
The hoods, the doors, the roof, the
Yeah,
trunk.
all of it.
It's all embedded with 450 barely visible solar panels.
It's like a lizard walking around with scales. This thing is reflecting and absorbing the sun.
Shockingly low price, $25,000.
How would you say it looks, Jack?
Not the best looking car.
Not ugly, but it's okay.
Looks like a whistle.
It does look like a whistle. Now, Yetis, the reason Jack and I wanted to cover this story is because it's the first we've seen of a self-charging car.
Yeah, they should call this the Energizer Bunny.
Now, the range is okay. It's not great. It runs out of battery in about 190 miles.
That's pretty good. But if it's sunny, it will charge itself while you're driving.
And that's the brilliance here, because if you have like a shortish commute to work, you can just park this thing in the sun and it's going to sunbathe like you're in Ibiza.
Which means if you have a shortish commute to work, you may never need to charge the car.
You may never need to plug in that car.
Forever, as long as the sun is still rising, it will be powered by the sun.
And ever. Well, unless you do go on a really long road trip. That's the exception.
If you go on a long road trip over 190 miles, it's not going to charge itself fast enough. It's going to get empty. You're going to have to plug it in.
It uses energy faster than it generates energy from the sun.
And Sonos Motors spacked onto the U.S. stock markets just before markets fell apart about 1 year ago.
And the stock jumped 15% yesterday because the Sun car just got some positive reviews in the United States.
Yeah, and 20,000 people have pre-ordered this thing in Europe.
Yeah.
Although it's not available in the U.S. yet.
For now. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies who may not know how to use an Allen wrench either over at Sono Motors?
These guys know how to use an Allen wrench.
Yeah, they
dude.
probably do.
Yeti's the world's most futuristic car is borrowing from the world's oldest car.
Another revolutionary product, besties, the old Ford Model T car built 100 years ago that revolutionized the car industry.
Those two cars employed totally different technology, but the same strategy 100 years apart.
Just like Ford's original Model T, this solar car is priced way lower than anything else.
$25,000 is cheaper than any electric car, much less the solar panels.
And just like the old Model T Ford car, there are absolutely no frills whatsoever in this solar car.
This thing's got an accelerator, a brake pedal, a steering wheel, and that's about it.
Keeping production efficient. And there are literally no options in this solar car.
When you go to the website, the only option is buy or don't buy. There's one thing. You don't customize it.
The solar car CEO said the same thing as Henry Ford.
You can have any color you want as long as it's black.
So the way we see it, the most futuristic car we've ever seen borrows from the oldest car we've ever known. Jack, can you whip up the takeaways for us for the new Friday?
Tomorrow Golf is the PGA Tour's response to Live Golf.
Pro sports have been more challenged in the last year than in the previous 100.
For our second story, online shoppers are flocking to Etsy right now.
Thanks to Etsy's wholesome craft sellers, it's an inflation destination. It's an inflation haven.
For our third and final story, Sono Motors just unveiled a solar car, and it is self-charging, baby.
Yeah, the most futuristic car we've ever seen is borrowing from the oldest car we've ever known. Barely stuck the landing on that one.
I was nervous for you.
I was like, I couldn't barely remember what we said in that previous story. I was like, we just said something really cool. I kind of want to say it again.
I could tell
you
didn't know the next word.
I didn't totally know. I was going kind of off the gut. In the meantime, we have got the best fact yet from Julia Fang, a Yeti in Tallinn, Estonia.
McDonald's launched the famous Chicken McNugget way back in 1983.
But if it weren't for legendary investor Ray Dalio, the McDonald's McNugget wouldn't have happened.
They almost didn't launch the McNugget because the costs were too erratic, too volatile, and too expensive sometimes.
Okay, so investor Ray Dalio advised McDonald's to break the chicken into 3 different components.
Is it too expensive? Or is it one component that's too expensive?
You got the chicken itself, and then the corn and the soy meal that feed the chicken.
And it turns out it was the feed prices, the corn and the soy meal, that were so volatile and uncertain.
So Ray Dalio got McDonald's to buy soybean futures and more easily determine the prices so they could make the Chicken McNugget.
He stabilized the price by hedging the risk. That's what finance does.
Ipso facto, finance created the McNugget.
Finance enabled the McNugget.
Yetis, you look fantastic today. Just remember, this weekend, when you've got a Sunday sleep in, celebrate some wins.
Open up the window, let the cool air in, and snuggle into that comforter.
Jack and I will see you Monday. And before we go, good luck to all the New York City Marathon runners out there. You got this.
And congratulations to Grant Hewitt and Clara DeSoto, whose new baby, Hartley Catalina Hewitt, was born on Halloween in Rumson, New Jersey.
Congrats on the baby. And Brooke Bonifaci and Wesley White, they are getting married in Chicago this weekend doing logistics.
And congrats to Ray and Courtney Roberson, who just had the old Halloween-style wedding down in Atlanta.
While Jenny McLean and Tyler Morung are getting married today in Groton, Connecticut, right by the submarines.
Bon voyage to Chris and Mariah, who are heading out to Europe for their 5-year anniversary.
And Caitlin and Joel J are celebrating 1 year together with a trip to New York City.
And happy birthday to Rebecca Kelly in New York City.
And Diego Navarro turning 26 down in Mexico City.
Happy birthday to Ava over in Austria.
And Frank Nalla, happy birthday in Long Beach, New York.
Happy 9th birthday to Easton Mabe in Gray, Tennessee.
And Christine Wynn is celebrating that birthday over in Hawaii.
Happy birthday to Brooke Kelly in Pittsburgh, PA.
And Ryan and Colton Tejan have a double birthday in Dallas, a dad and son with the same birthday.
That's incredible.
Amazing.
And happy birthday to Kuvi Manjal in Medford, New Jersey.
And Kartik Gupta's turning 21 over in Pittsburgh.
Happy birthday to Gillard Lindenboim in Brookline, Mass.
And a happy birthday to Evan Byrne in Chicago.
We heard his daughter Lillian is truly the best one yet. This is Jack. I own stock of Amazon, and Nick and I both own stock of Chipotle and Robinhood. Now, a word about our sponsor, Robinhood.
A lot of you listen to our show while you're driving.
2 hands on the wheel. keep it 10 and 2.
You might be cruising Chris, no rush, stay in the right lane.
Or you might be Darlene from Duncan, dotting from lane to lane.
Yeah, there are different drivers on the road. There are different investors too.
Maybe you're cruising down the long-term lane with stock investing, or maybe you're a more advanced full-speed trader.
Well, the Robinhood app helps put you in the driver's seat wherever you're at in your investing journey.
If you're not investing on Robinhood yet, to get started, go to Robinhood.com/TBoy and choose your free stock.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY. Limitations apply.
Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, all investments involve risk.
By the way, this podcast is not owned by or part of Robinhood, and we are not employees of Robinhood.